And back again with the 4th Street Sports Show. Jackson Kennedy reporting with Dima Mixon here, standing on the beautifully new turfed field at M.M. Roberts Stadium, aka The Rock, and this field looks immaculate. And, you know, there were 2 players who did look immaculate today. Holman Edwards and Billy Wiles. They are still battling it out for the starting position. And, you know, we talked with them Wednesday. I'm sure you saw them yesterday while I was at work. But, you know, there's a very interesting battle going on because every time it seems like one person has the edge, the other person kind of takes the lead. They are neck and neck, and there's really no clear person who either of us can confidently say has that number 1 spot. So first, I'm going to have to think a little bit. So I'm going to give it to you because I still haven't decided who stood out more to me today. But Dima, who do you think won today?
Yeah, so we're going to try to do this every time we're both at practice. We're going to give you a video that says who won the quarterback battle until they announce the quarterback winner. I think Billy won today, and the reason I say that is because he made some great over-the-middle throws. One of my favorite plays in football. He will, and one thing that's been what's so great about having depth at the running back room now, he will, fake the handoff to Franco Jr. or whoever's next to him. That brings the linebackers down, right? So that opens up Ty Mims, that opens up Brandon Hayes over the middle for the quick slant pass, which they've been missing all these years of Will Hall because that's what he wants to do. That's his run pass option because if it's not there, then the quarterback scrambles to the right and looks for the tight end or whatever. So Billy Wiles executed that play perfectly almost every time. And he made a couple of inerrant throws, but he was really on par today. The past 2 days I thought Holman was better, but today I really liked what I saw from Billy. Not saying Holman didn't do well. I do want to mention that Holman did have to get his ankle taped up at the beginning of practice, where he was on the field and was getting his ankle wrapped. I don't know if necessarily that was because he just had a bad tape in the beginning, but also I didn't know that he needed tape. So I think that every little thing when you come into a quarterback room where this little separation matters. It matters that Billy Wiles is generally first in all the drills, and it matters that Holman Edwards needs his ankle braced. I mean, that does matter however much. It may have mattered with 0.1%, but today I would say Billy won the battle.
Yeah, and so I'm still thinking, but I do want to mention a couple of things. Yes, Holman did have to have his ankle taped, and he like Dima and I didn't really catch what caused this or what sparked it, but we were talking, and then we look over, and then Holman has taken off his cleat, and now he's sitting down, and he has to have his ankle taped. And again, we will report on that as much as we know, but this is all that we kind of have the information on right now is what we have seen with our own eyes. But I do want to mention that Billy was really good in the short yardage passes, anywhere from like the 3 to 12 yard passes. That's where he excelled. And Holman had a 70-yard touchdown pass and then another 60-yard touchdown pass today. And both of them were deep balls, which if you've been following this quarterback battle since before even spring started, whenever Southern Miss picked up these 2 transfers, that's kind of the opposite of what was said. Right. Whenever we saw that Billy Wiles was even interested in Southern Miss, I watched his tape from the Clemson practice facilities, and he was a gunslinger. He was the one who would throw it down the field. He had that cannon of an arm, and Holman Edwards was known as just very calming presence on the field, executing the plays it's called, and it looks like that's kind of flipped, or maybe these guys are just kind of showing off the talent in which they kind of lacked, because Holman was known as that game manager and Billy was known as the deep pass, but these past couple days at practice it seemed to be they're working on the spot that they're not talked about as much. I would say for the big playability, Holman did stand out to me, because it's not that Billy Wiles did not attempt to do so, just he couldn't connect on those longer passes, and that was a little bit interesting to think of, but you really have to give credit to the DBs there.
Yeah, and just so you know, that's how tight this quarterback room is, that we work together and we're both disagreeing on who we thought stood out, because and it's very rare you get into fall camp with this tight. Normally one person you come into fall camp like, oh, he's probably ahead. And we got a very clear message from Will Hall at Sunbelt Media Day that no, this is a tight race. He doesn't know who's going to be quarterback, and we don't know either. That's why we're doing these videos, who won today, because you have to take every little bit, deep balls, over the middle throws, clean pockets, all these things into consideration, because the needle is so tight. And at the end of the day, it might not even matter, because it's really who elevates themselves in the next coming weeks. And we'll see a lot next Saturday at the scrimmage.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Will Hall has been quoted many a time. And if you're watching this, you have probably seen Will Hall's pressers from yesterday and the day before. Real football is played with pads, is what Will Hall has said time and time again. And that's true. And so we are just now starting to see what Will Hall describes as real football. Obviously, this is not full contact, so we can't really say who is better because, some of those throws by Holman and Billy, they were after the D linemen were right there on him, and they were told, hey, if the D line gets to where they can get a sack, back off. This is not full contact. Let the quarterback make a play and let the guys in the back try and make a play as well because, the D-line, they already made the play. They already recorded the sack, so it's kind of like recording like 2 snaps at once for practicing. So I'm excited to see more full contact because that's going to give us, a little bit more of a clue. And, who is going to perform better once all these lights are on? Who's going to perform better once all the fans are in the stadium? Who's going to perform better when the D linemen don't stop 2 feet away from you? That's going to really tell us. So I would say just for the big playability, Holman Edwards edged out for me, but because I already know that he can make those. But I will say I was incredibly impressed with Billy Wiles because on that first day of practice, day 1, he kind of struggled in those short yardage things. And in a mere 48 hours, he's already shown to have great improvements. So it's going to be a very tight battle. Make sure every single day that Dima and I are practice together, we are going to record one of these videos just like he said. So be expecting one of these tomorrow. And then next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere around the time of just kind of wrapping up that week, we will record more of these. So make sure to stay tuned. And you've just watched the 4th Street Sports Show.